but not my own show.
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
A year ago today, I was forced to leave a job that I loved at the peak of its success for having the audacity to express an honestly held opinion.
Well, he's back. Look out, Meghan and Harry. Piers Morgan has triumphantly returned to television. After you just saw he justifiably left Good Morning Britain over a year ago with some controversy. I'm Adrienne Batra with Brian Lilly and Brad Hunter. Brian, just remind us again, what precipitated that big blowout with Piers Morgan and Good Morning Britain?
Well, Piers Morgan had some tough words for Meghan Markle after her big Oprah interview, where she, essentially went unchallenged, making a lot of different claims, including, questions about the race of her child from members of the royal family, claims about how difficult her mental health was. And Piers Morgan looked at some of that and said he didn't agree with it.
This is a 2-hour trash-a-thon of our royal family, of the monarchy, of everything the Queen has worked so hard for.
Well, that, of course, you couldn't do. You can't question people when they say that they are victims. And so there was a heated exchange. He walked off the set. And he has decided that he's going to continue to be outspoken. And I think that's what led to this new show.
He is now paired up with the super genius of Rupert Murdoch to bring an uncensored version of Talk TV. And here's how he describes what it will be about.
So I'm delighted to now be returning to live television with a new primetime show whose main purpose will be to cancel the cancel culture which has infected societies around the world. I want it to be a platform for lively, vigorous debate, for newsmaking interviews, and that increasingly taboo 3-letter word, fun. I also want it to annoy all the right people. I'm Piers Morgan, Uncensored.
Brad, Rupert Murdoch is known all around the world to run towards controversy. He recognizes talent. He really leans in to someone that maybe has been cast aside by everybody else. But he's made a few $1 billion along the way, recognizing that being the other side of the voice and telling the other side of the story is a pretty good place to be. So someone, you've worked for the Rupert Murdoch companies and you've been in their New York Post newsroom. This is a man who clearly understands how to sell, and he understands branding. So is this a good sort of professional marriage?
It's a beautiful marriage, Adrienne. I mean, Piers Morgan is a product of Rupert Murdoch initially. He was at 28. He was editor of the largest English language paper in the world, the News of the World at the time, the now defunct News of the World. But, both Murdoch and Piers Morgan are classic tabloid men. There's nothing they like better than going after hypocrites and torching them and having as much fun as possible with it. I don't think he's going to change. I mean, he described Harry in a recent thing he put up on his Twitter page as po-faced, sanctimonious, virtue-signaling hypocrite. And that is the key to the genius of the British tabloids.
And Brian, of course, he's had some very choice words for our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. And whenever Piers Morgan says anything about the woke, the left, those comments go viral because they come from a place of thoughtfulness. It's not just, casting aspersions. He actually has thoughtful rationale and reasoning behind his disdain for politicians such as Justin Trudeau. So he wants to tackle this, he wants to cancel culture. Is that an insurmountable task?
It could be. I mean, Piers Morgan was canceled in the past, not only with Good Morning Britain, but he had a show on CNN where he wasn't exactly the right fit for what CNN wanted, if you remember. And he tried to go into this woke left culture that he now wants to poke fun at. And it wasn't a good fit for him. And that show ended up canceled. And, he went back to Britain for a bit, and now he's back and forth in both countries. Canceling cancel culture, though, is difficult, but he's going to have allies in this now. And it's not just people on the so-called right that are saying, you know what, enough of this. Let people live their lives, let them say what they want. It's people like Russell Brand, who's very far left, believes in socialism, the actor. And he's got a popular online presence as well. He's saying the same thing. Bill Maher in the United States is saying a lot of the same things, and also looking at Trudeau and starting to question him. So, there will be allies for this. And I think this could help in the ongoing pushback against cancel culture, which is cancerous, I think, to our society, and cancerous to the idea of free speech, free expression, these things that we supposedly hold dear.
Brad, we at the Toronto Sun, of course, find some comfort in these sorts of things because we have made an entire industry in the newspaper business here of making those who are comfortable, we make them uncomfortable. We sort of stick our fingers and poke our finger in the eye of those who, deserve it. And I think that there is a real desire out there for this type of journalism and really pushing back on what has been a tidal wave of how to live your life, what to say, what not to say, who you're allowed to speak to, and all of this notion of woke culture. But I think that Piers Morgan really has an extraordinary opportunity, obviously a huge, huge platform, but he himself has said that he wants to do all of those things to go after the, quote, right people. And so what does that mean? Who are these people he's referring to?
Well, Adrian, they could be politically correct professors, petulant social studies students, whiners, hypocrites of all sort, or as Tom Wolfe described once, that his job was to make the weenies scream. And that's, Harry and Meghan won't be let off the hook, nor will a slew of hypocritical celebrities flying to environmental conferences in Learjets. So I think he's got a wide field.
Well, I think Piers Morgan is going to be an equal opportunity flamethrower. So watch out, Joe Rogan. I think there's going to be some competition on the horizon. Who is going to capture the audiences? But I know someone we all know will certainly be watching, and it's our city editor, Jonathan Kingston, because not a day goes by when he doesn't send us a message about something or other that Piers Morgan has written or tweeted. He's a big fan. But will you be watching Talk TV? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.